Hello everyone, hope all are doing well. So I'm here with your new lesson, Albert Einstein at School. In this particular online module, I'm going to tell you the theme, the important characters and the storyline and the whole overview of that particular lesson. In my first video, I have told you that Albert Einstein is one of that particular child who has a very revolutionary ideas. He just wanted to know the things by the experimental outlook. He has an hidden talent, and during his primary education, when he was taking the primary education, all his teachers used to criticize him for his rude and blunt behavior. He used to ask a lot of questions and argue with the teachers a lot. And this particular habit actually irritates the teacher. But he never stopped this particular habit of asking more questions, probing into the matter, because I think every child has this inquisitive behavior. Every child wants to know more and more, and this habit actually is a very important part of learning. So, Patrick Pringle in this particular lesson describes his whole personality and perception of Einstein. Einstein, we know him as a renowned scientist and for his theory of relativity, but here we will only talk about his early education, his friends and fellow mates who has given him the perception and helped him in his journey of education. So this is a biographical piece discuss the childhood of Albert Einstein, and the chapter starts with Einstein's disagreement on rote learning with a history teacher. So Einstein wanted to get away from the system of education followed in Munich. So Munich is a place where he was in and he was taking the early education. So he decided to get a doctor's certificate declaring that he had some nervous breakdown and he needed some 6 months of rest. Only his maths teacher, Mr. Koch, admired him a lot and tried to appreciate his habit of asking questions. But before Einstein could get an appointment with the head teacher to present that certificate, he was asked by the head teacher to leave the school due to his poor code of conduct. And so he felt happy on leaving the school. This particular whole incident now, I told you in short about this whole incident. What do you mean by that? Do you really hate your school? And if yes, why? And if no, what were the reasons why you love your school? Two things we all love about school is learning and teachers. So learning, what kind of learning we all want? That learning are we seeking, or that learning do we really want or desire or crave for, that no longer will be in use in future? So we all actually need a learning that should be futuristic first of all, that should actually suffice our futuristic goals, and that has a practical pragmatic outlook and thinking. It should develop our pragmatic thinking and practical approach, and that is how learning without using that particular concept is just in vain or a mundane activity. And here he finds so much similar with that this idea that Einstein, when learning the history dates, he said that why I should learn and mug up the facts which I am not using practically in life. And he was actually right, but the teacher got annoyed, and Albert Einstein was abused and humiliated by the teacher, and this actually led to his disinterest, and he also started hated going to school, and that is what is described in this lesson. One more thing about the characters, if we talk about, one is Mr. Braun, his history teacher, who was very traditional and conventional. He was rooted with his own style of teaching the history by learning facts and dates. He had a huge argument with mm, Einstein. Second is Yuri. He was a very good friend of Einstein, a helpful person. Elsa, she was Einstein's cousin who advised him that he will eventually succeed if he continues that school. Then Mr. Coach, his maths teacher, who always supported his genius qualities and gave him a reference if he wanted. Then the head teacher, he is an administrator who simply takes the disciplinary action required by requesting Einstein to leave the school. So the particular chapter started with the history class where Einstein was humiliated and he thought that ideas were not important and facts were not very important in learning. And then Einstein gets scolded by Mr. Braun. He was very much shocked and furious when he knew the particular thoughts of Einstein, and he believed that Einstein had no desire to learn and he was simply wasting his father's money. And this he gave a punishment to Einstein and he said that you shouldn't attend my extra periods. He also told Einstein that he was a disgrace to the school, and the teacher suggested Einstein to call his father to take him away. A very bad episode in Einstein's life. Einstein hated the atmosphere of slum violence. Then there is a portion in the chapter where it is a description about the atmosphere where the landlord beat her children regularly, and on Saturday a drunken husband also beats his wife. The only comfort for Einstein was when he played his violin, and he stopped by his landlord lady because its sound disturbs her. All this made him miserable, more miserable. So Einstein met his cousin Ilsa, and Einstein shared all these problems with his friend Yuri. Einstein shared this pain with Yuri, and his friend tried to convince him by telling that he was lucky to at least have his own room. So Yuri also told Einstein that he was sharing a room with students who were not civilized at all. One of the students got killed the previous week in such a duel. Einstein got disgusted after hearing this account. So then Einstein met his cousin Ilsa. Ilsa tried to console him. She told him that she knew a lot of boys who were more stupid than him, and he was good as compared to these boys, and she also suggested Einstein to continue the school. Einstein's plans to get away from school. Now Einstein thought that it was meaningless to stay in Munich, and it was no use wasting his father's valuable money and asset. He met Yuri and asked him that if he knew any doctor, please tell him so that he can generate the medical certificate and get out from this school. The doctor gives Einstein a medical certificate. Further, Einstein seeks a reference. Einstein was summoned by head teacher again after this, and at last when Einstein heard this, he felt sad that he had unnecessarily wasted time to generate the medical certificate, to produce the medical certificate. Einstein was tempted to tell the head teacher what he thought about the school or about the teachers, but somehow stopped himself. But he did not feel ashamed of being expelled and walked out keeping his head high. He did not say goodbye to any teacher or student inside the school. The only person he wanted to meet before leaving was Yuri, who wished him good luck and wished him he would be happier in Milan, as it was a wonderful place. And this is how the whole chapter ended up. I hope you will get done your notes properly in the book and ask me your queries in the doubt session. Have a nice day ahead. Thank you.